Jackson on behalf of my co-hosts Isaac Simpson and Maria Perry. I'd like to welcome you to this episode of Short on Shorts. Our special guest reviewer this week is actress Naomi Grossman, best known as Pepper on American Horror Story, and the third film we reviewed was Mother and Brother, directed by Dustin Cook. The film isn't publicly available just yet, but you can keep up to date with its progress on its website. The link is below. Enjoy our review.
Our next film is Mother and Brother, which is Maria's pick. It's written and directed by Dustin Cook, starring Lawrence Fuller, Lisa Goodman, and Clint Napier, or Napier. Napier is probably the right way to say that. It's a film about two brothers and their dying, abusive mother. Very intense film. This was a film that was submitted to our site by a filmmaker. There's many films submitted, and we really like this one. Maria chose it, so why did you pick this out of the mass of films we have on there?
Well, I mean, I do. I spend a lot of time looking through films, and this one just stood out because it was so engaging, and it was so, I guess I always have a thing about really families that just don't go together. Like, people have a lot of problems in their families, and when that's on screen, that's always something that I'm just like, yes, I would like to subscribe to this. So that's definitely, I think, what drew me the most about this one.
I did not want to subscribe to this, only because it was so hard to watch. Maybe this is me just like going, no, I'm going to watch Waiting to Exhale while y'all, I don't know. It was a lot, you know?
Yeah. To me, this felt very, very autobiographical until it got to the end, and then I felt, I don't know, this is not the right way to put it, but I felt entertained, right? When I say something feels autobiographical, that's not a good thing. What I mean by that is it feels like a storyteller who is telling something that's very real for them, but they haven't given much thought into what about their idea might be engaging and entertaining to an audience, to other people, right? And this felt like that to me until we got to the end. And then I was like, oh, okay, that was a nice thing he did for his brother.
And then that's where it came in. Yeah, I think that's a very deft criticism. I think that makes a lot of sense. Is that I kind of, for the first 10 minutes, I was sort of like what's happening? This is difficult. Why are we here? And then when we got to the end, it clicked together in that last 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure. And by the way, there are a lot. I mean, I have seen an inordinate number of films that I could describe that way. That I would write them off after 8-9 minutes, and then something happens, and I'm like, oh, okay, right? And I think that's great. And if it were a feature, that's definitely soon enough, right? But for a short, you've got to be careful, right? There's a great movie, I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time called, and I don't know how to say the Icelandic name, it's an Icelandic film called Two Birds.
Short film.
Which
really
is an amazing short film.
Yeah,
I mean, that is maybe my favorite short film ever.
It's a great short.
But if you just watched the first 7 or 8 minutes of it and then stopped, you'd be like, I've seen all this before. Why do I care? And then the thing happens and you're like, ugh.
And see, this was weird for me because normally if it is a difficult to watch film, not because it's not pretty, but because the content of it is difficult to watch, I'll usually just move on after a few minutes because I'm not that engaged. But for some reason, this one was engaging enough that I stuck around and got to the payoff, and I was like, yes.
What was unsettling enough to keep you
I guess,
watching?
I don't know. The familial interactions, I think, are just so... For me, I find that really driving. Like, it's really upsetting because I always hear people say, oh, they're your family, you have to love them. So when you see on screen, especially, like, families that don't have that love, I'm always like, oh, really interesting, yes.
Did you believe the mom?
There was some dialogue that I thought was maybe a little forced and contrived, especially when she's like, when you were at your science fair, we knew you'd be a failure. Like, I feel like that's sort of almost a James Bond villain sort of like, I am the bad guy sort of move.
It just felt sort of unmotivated to me. I didn't have a particular problem with the dialogue, but why did she say it to him right then? What was the reason that they were having this? That I think is the thing that was missing for me. It's like what drove, and that's what made it kind of feel autobiographical. It's like what, from a story standpoint, motivated her to say that to him then. I think if you had had that, it would have been a much stronger story.
Well, and did she forget that he's the one that cleans her, bedpan and sticks the tube back? Hello.
But I found that believable because that's a power. She's almost like the prison guard. She's got to keep the regime of.
And I feel like because there wasn't that motivator, it makes it feel like it's something that happens regularly. Like maybe that's the sort of thing that she tells him all the time. And if that's the world that this guy lives in, then you feel that much more sympathetic for his character.
Old women can be really mean.
I think everyone can be really mean. Like
I'm just saying, my grandma, by the end, she was like nobody.
Really?
Oh boy, yeah.
So it was like, don't even go near
Yeah.
her because
Well, I
she'll
mean,
just say the meanest thing.
I mean,
That's
that might
funny.
be. I mean, so it might be realistic that an older, sick, very sick person, very ill person might be mean like that. But just from a story standpoint, I mean, and you can make any choice you want, but make some choice, right? If it's that this is what she always does, then show us that. Make it clear that this is her routine and it's always what she does. If there's a specific thing that's happened that's caused her to say this now, then show us that, right? But you can't skip over that point, right? Because the story suffers. And we agree until the end, right? If the end wasn't there, if that didn't happen, then this was like, why did you make this movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, there was a lot going for this short. The casting was a little weird. I thought the mother character seemed like I kept thinking she's like probably a nice lady. I kept looking at her and being like, she actually seems like she's probably like a really nice woman,
Right.
just saying these lines that are like really mean, And if you think that's probably not so great. And the two guys, they looked like L.A. waiter extraordinaire. It was like these guys are like a little too good looking to be normal schlubs in the South. Right. And they're both like, we're these good looking, rugged brothers. And it was just like,
I don't know.
Where did you get
that's-
these guys from?
That's what happens when you make stuff. I mean, people have this tendency to put good-looking people on.
No, and they weren't bad actors. They were good actors.
My problem
it's just
was
it
that
was whatever. No, we got
he didn't feel like an older brother to me, I guess. I mean, I know that the dialogue kind of hinted that he was an older brother, but there was nothing about his look. I mean, he looked like he was his like high school friend, like in the same grade or something.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like an older brother, and that was the problem I had with the casting.
Weirdly casted. Anyway, okay, last film.
But I didn't hate it. Like I
We
want
didn't
these
hate
filmmakers to,
No, yeah.
because they're all gonna grow up and be like the next big thing, So still cast me. I wasn't in the mood. Like I felt like a Alizé, and you serve me a bourbon. You know what I mean?
An Alizé. That's
An
waiting
Alizé.
to excel. You feel
That's
like
what I'm saying.
you feel like an Alizé a lot.
I was feeling good. And then I didn't feel
Look,
so good.
the reason we say these things about these filmmakers is not because we think these movies are bad. Even to choose these movies, they have to be really good. So keep that in mind. Like we see movies all the time that I can't even pick because they're so bad. Right. We pick these movies because they are good enough to be reviewed. And if we weren't giving you the honest truth about them, we wouldn't be doing the service that we need to be doing. I mean, we're telling you the honest truth about what we think about these
The
films.
fact that four intelligent people can sit up here and have a conversation about your film and disagree about it is a sign that it's got something going.
It's got a lot going for it. So if you were talking about it on here, that means it's really good.
Thanks for watching. If you want more information about how Short on Shorts works or how you can submit your film for consideration, or if you want to watch more episodes of Short on Shorts, click on the link at the end of this video if you're watching on Facebook, or in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. See you next time.